What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. It is me, Kiara, and I just want to start this video off by saying thank you to all 30K subscribers, from the people who were there from the very beginning to the new ones. Hello, welcome. So I recently asked you all what type of topics did you want me to discuss here after seeing all of the weight loss videos and all that good stuff, my wellness journey and all of that. And this particular video is going to be about encouraging other people to never give up, because that was the most liked comment underneath the post. So I'll be answering that. Of course, I'll answer the other ones in later videos, but I really wanted to pay attention to that one because it seemed like a lot of people needed that type of encouragement. So shout out to the Money Play for that very well liked comment. So let's get right into it. This kind of also ties into another comment that was left that said, how did you stay motivated on your journey? So I'll just kind of talk about all of those things because I think they pretty much you're pretty much looking for the same type of answers. First things first, if you are like me and you love to take notes, go ahead and get your pen and pad out because this is going to be like a little mini course, okay? So there are several key items that you need to keep in mind when you are starting your wellness journey. And the very first thing that you have to do is, of course, set a goal. If you do not set a goal, you kind of would just be out there doing anything, not really having a clear path set ahead of you. You always want to start something out with a clear plan. So it has to be measurable, it has to be achievable. And most importantly, it has to be digestible. So let's say that you haven't been working out in many, many years, and you decide one day, I'm just gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna start working out 6 days a week for 2 hours straight, and I'm gonna be snatched and I'm gonna be fine and blah, blah, blah. It's not realistic. You haven't put down any time frame to measure it. How will you measure it? Where will you start? Where are you going? So you kind of want to start there, okay? So for me personally, like I've talked about in a lot of my previous videos, when I first set out on this journey, I had to define what it is that I actually wanted. My goal was wellness. I know it sounds crazy because a lot of times we're like, oh, I just want to lose weight. I just want to lose 20. I just want to lose 50 pounds. But I had to shift my mindset from not worrying about every single pound to actually concerning myself with my full wellness, with my whole body wellness. Once I determined that I actually wanted to live in a healthy body, a healthy vessel, that's when I decided to make clear goals and started to pray about it and set out on my journey based on the things that God was showing me about wellness. So a digestible goal would be, I want to lose 10 pounds this month, or I want to lose 5 pounds this month. We're not going to talk about how much we want to lose in total because that's not very digestible, right? I had to get crystal clear about what it is that I actually wanted. That was to live in a healthy body, to lose the weight in a healthy way. I'm not talking about a fad diet. I'm not talking about no weight loss pills or no tummy teas or no none of that. None of the shortcuts, right? You have to really get crystal clear about what it is that you want. So that's the first thing. Write down your goal. Define your very specific goals, okay? I'm going to drink 60 ounces of water a day. I'm going to have such and such amount of protein this week. I'm going to cut back on my sugar this week. Whatever your goal is, make sure that it is realistic for you, because what my goals are may not be what your goals are. Because it's been a whole year for me, the goals that I set a year ago were not the goals that I have today. The next thing is about consistency, and I know a lot of people really wonder about consistency because they feel like once they mess up that they are just off the bandwagon, right? And let me be the first person to tell you that being consistent has its ups and its downs. Consistency is not about perfection. You're not going to always hit the mark every single day. You may be tired. You may not just feel like it. Maybe you went over your calories. Maybe you were under your calories. Maybe you were so busy you just couldn't get your water in for the day. Maybe you're a woman and it's your time of the month, so doing all those other weightlifting and all the stuff that requires a lot of strength, maybe you just couldn't hit those goals in the gym today. That's fine, right? Maybe you take a week off because you're in a season where you just do not feel like it. Trust me, I was there. There were many days where I woke up in the morning and I did not feel like it. There were many days where I would not meal prep because I just simply did not feel like getting in the kitchen and meal prepping. But consistency says that because I made a goal, I'm going to get back on path when I get it together. And I think that my mistake in the beginning was always that, oh, I went on vacation, I had a couple snacks, I kind of binged a little bit. Now I'm just not on path anymore and I'm just going to give up. Consistency says that even though I've done all those things, by next week, you just get back on it. Lifestyle changes are not perfect. You won't always stick to it the way that you think that you will, and that's okay. Even when it feels too hard for you, you have to commit to it. Even when you feel like you failed, you still made a commitment, right? Consistency is saying that even when I'm not motivated to do it, I'm going to still show up for myself because this is the goal and this is the promise that I made to myself. So people asking about how do I stay motivated? Motivation does not exist, right? You feel motivated, it'll get you a little push to get started maybe, but motivation does not carry you throughout a journey like this. You have to decide to be consistent and you have to be disciplined. And sometimes that means I messed up, but tomorrow I'm gonna get back on it. Tomorrow I'm gonna do it again, okay? Next thing is that you have to determine your why. Why am I doing this? Do I have children that I'm trying to stay healthy for and live to see my grandchildren? Is there a diagnosis that I've gotten recently or that I have, or a diagnosis that is on my family, like within our genetics, that could possibly affect me? What is your why? You have to determine, why is it that I want a healthier body? To make it simple, for me, my health was failing. It was declining. I was depressed. I was anxious. I was having heart palpitations. I had high blood pressure. I had high resting heart rate. I was fatigued all the time. There was a lot going on. And then I had acquired a child through a death in the family. And now I'm like, well, I have to be healthy, right? I can't take care of a child if I'm not well in my own body. And just the overall feeling of not feeling like I was that I was not useful, because I really love the fact that I can be in a position to help people, to further the kingdom, to show up for God in a way that a lot of people can't or just choose not to, right? And I felt like I was doing the body of Christ a disservice by not living in a healthy body and by deciding to give into my gluttonous ways, okay? And so all of those things were my why. So you have to determine, what is it that's going to push you to actually do it? What is your breaking point? I found myself in the ER a lot of times, and that, you know, it kind of got to a point where I was like, okay, this is too much, right? My health, my life, everything that I have to offer, like, I don't want to give that up because I can't stop giving into temptation because I just want to eat too much, right? It's just think about it, right? It just doesn't make sense. And it wasn't worth it, right? My soul is not worth me constantly living in gluttony, constantly giving into temptation and letting myself become a slave to food when I know that I have control over that. Another thing that you can do to stay encouraged is to always celebrate yourself. Whenever you hit a milestone, listen, even when I lost 1 pound, I was happy about that. Maybe I bought myself something. Maybe I took myself to a movie. It doesn't matter what it is. I made sure that I acknowledged the fact that, hey, you hit another goal, another milestone. Let's acknowledge that. The next thing I want to talk about is learning from your mistakes and learning from those setbacks. Because me personally, especially in the beginning, there were a lot of things that I did not know. So educate yourself, right? You have to figure out, what are the best ways to sustain myself during this process? If I'm out and about and I'm hungry, where will I go? If I'm just hanging out and I maybe want a snack, what will I bring? When you put yourself in positions to fail, then you will probably fail. But if you set yourself up for success, then you will succeed. So being prepared is a major key to staying encouraged. And kind of like I talked about earlier, whenever you make a mistake, just learn from that mistake and keep going, keep pushing. Don't beat yourself up because you made a simple mistake. This is a journey that listen, a journey is a journey for a reason. You have to learn character. You have to be built up. You have to be shaped and molded into the person that you are supposed to become while you're in the journey, right? You don't get to skip that process because it's cumbersome, or it stresses you out, or it makes you feel like you can't do it. Except, especially as a grown person, at some point we have to accept that it's not going to be easy. I will run into some road bumps, but I have the capabilities to get through it. To embark on a journey and assume that it'll be just peaches and cream is insane, okay? And so we have to be realistic about that we are not set on this earth to live a perfect life, to have perfect experiences, and to reach our goals just like that. There is no more instant gratification when you embark on a journey such as this. This is why people take the shortcuts. Like I talked about earlier, this is why the fad diets exist, because sometimes people want an easy way out. And there is no judgment towards, those routes. I just understand human nature, and so I understand why people make those decisions. It's really hard to stick to that type of process when you know that it'll take time, when you know that you'll sweat and maybe cry and maybe reach a point where you just want to give up. And for us to want to avoid that is completely Understandable. I get it. But there is always going to be a cost. There's always going to be a consequence to taking a shortcut. Okay. And so keep that in mind when you embark on this journey, that you can't just skip the process. You're not that important. Jesus didn't even escape the process. So who do we think we are to think that we can skip these vital, life-giving and character-building processes? We're not exempt from that kind of stuff. And if you are one of the spiritual girlies that follow me, then you know what I'm talking about. Acknowledge the fact that through Christ you can do all things, okay? There is not a space in this world that's going to make it easy for you. And also recognize that sometimes God does set it up for you to where it's like, oh wow, when you go with God, things are a lot easier because he gives you a peace. So that's going to be my last point, that staying encouraged means staying in your word, making sure that you rely on God to give you that strength, to give you that peace throughout the journey. Because for me personally, when I started to do this alone, it got really dark. It got really depressing. I got really anxious. The weight always came back. I've lost weight many a times before, right? But what I was doing, because I was doing it alone and I was not including God on that, again, he wants to be included in all of the details of your life. But because I was not including him, it was harder for me to maintain the weight loss. It was harder for me to find a diet that really was sustainable. It was hard for me to stay encouraged. It was hard for me to just stay in that thing. Giving your issues to God, saying, hey, Lord, I am praying for wellness. And because I'm praying for wellness, I do understand that some things will have to change in my life. Lord, I accept that change. Lord, I accept what it is that you're doing in my life. Lord, if it's to develop me, then Lord, let it be. Let your will be done over my life, right? I prayed for wellness because wellness is the thing that started to change my body, and the weight started to melt off of me, okay? It wasn't because I prayed and cried because, Lord, I just want to lose weight because I want to look real good. And no, that's not the prayer that I prayed. My prayer was for wellness. Weight loss just happened to be the byproduct of me really going to God and saying, hey, I give you my health. Okay, I give you this thing because I know that I cannot do it without you. And I know that the ways that I did it before just couldn't do it. It just wasn't doing it for me, Lord. So that's my final point, to always rely on God to get you through whatever journey that it is that you're going through, and accept and be thankful and grateful that the journey is what it is. It's a journey. Be grateful for all of the setbacks. Be grateful for all the nights that you cry about it, right? Be grateful for the times that you go into that gym and you really don't want to do it, but you pray and you say, Lord, if this is where you'll have me to be, then give me the strength to finish this workout, okay? Allow him to walk you through the whole process, because he cannot correct it if you do not bring it forward to him. So you say, Lord, I know I've been eating too much. I stayed up in the fast food lines for too long, Lord, and I just want you to change my mind about how it is that I view food, how it is that I view my own body. Lord, reveal to me what you say about me so that I am not discouraged when I look at myself in the mirror, because I know that you are a God of miracles and you can change that thing around for me. This illness or whatever it is that you have, it doesn't belong here. So Lord, if you could show me how to remove it and transmute this energy into something more loving and peaceful and godly, Lord, just show me that. Like, be open, be honest, confess it. What are your issues? What are you going through? And allow him to move you through that. Because being encouraged, I mean, the days where I didn't want to do it, I did not want to do it. There would be months, weeks, and in the past years where I was very inactive because I just did not see myself getting into a routine. I didn't have the energy for it. But then God revealed to me through food allergy testing, right? Because I had to pray about that. And somehow it was suggested to me to get food allergy testing. And here I am today, right? So it's just, he answers your prayers in those little bitty prayers that you pray. When you really are humble about it and you're open about it, he acknowledges that. He acknowledges that you want to do better for yourself as well. So those are the ways that me personally have been able to stay encouraged throughout this journey and not give up, realizing that this body is not my own, that I have to give this back one day. And for me to be able to carry out the duties that he set before me, I have to have a well body, right? The enemy knows that if you do not have wellness within your body, that is going to prevent you from doing the things that you have been called to do. So don't let the enemy have your body. Don't let the enemy have your wellness. Don't let the enemy have your mental health. Give that to the Lord. Tell him what you're going through and watch him change that thing around. Okay? That's all I gotta say. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And also turn on your notification bell so that you can know the next time I post a video.